Today we answer the question, will Alex Ovechkin pass Wayne Gretzky as the #1 goal scorer of all time? You're going to want to stick around for this one. It's a question that was thrown around a little bit just a few years ago, but this past year has seriously caught some traction because he had another outstanding goal scoring season. After passing the 700 goal marker, people really started to wonder, is Wayne Gretzky's record at risk? Is it even possible to break the record? Well, the numbers have been crunched and the maths have been done, and we're gonna answer that question. But first, let's take a look at both players. Wayne Gretzky, number 99, the great one. Probably the most famous and infamous hockey player there ever was. Even people who don't watch hockey, they know who Wayne Gretzky is. He came into the league for the Edmonton Oilers, shattering records, and played for 20 seasons, shattering countless other records. And even today, years after he's retired, he's still holding records. A player so great that no one dare wears the number 99 ever again. That's really saying something. We could talk for hours about all the great things that the Great One has done, but there's really no need. Everybody knows that Wayne Gretzky is the most famous hockey player to ever skate out on a sheet of ice. So yeah, in short, Wayne Gretzky's awesome. And in the other corner, we have Alexander Ovechkin, number 8, the Great 8, the Russian Machine, El Capitan.
Captain, my captain.
Oh, the things to say about my captain. He's the greatest goal scorer of the modern era. There is no denying it. 15 years after being drafted, and he still scores from the same spot, in the same manner, every single time. Goaltenders know it's coming, and they still can't stop it. Even people who don't watch hockey know who Alexander Ovechkin is. I bet you that my sister, who watches no sports, especially hockey, knows that Alexander Ovechkin is the #1 goal scorer in the league right now. In fact, hold on.
Hello?
Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Hey, can you help me out for a second?
Sure.
Hey, I got a question for you.
Okay.
And just off the top of your head, the first answer that comes to your mind, just tell me, okay?
Okay.
Who is the #1 goal scorer currently in the NHL? Active player. Who has...
Ovechkin?
Who?
Ovechkin?
Ovechkin! See? See? Okay, that's all.
Okay.
All right, love you.
Alright, bye.
Bye. You see? Even people who don't watch hockey know Alexander Ovechkin is the greatest goal scorer in the NHL right now. That's saying something. But we want to answer the question, can Gretzky's record be beat? Long answer short, yeah, it can. And he's gonna do it. But don't just take my word for it. Let the numbers show. Over the course of his 20 seasons, Gretzky played 1,487 games and totaled 894 goals. Ovechkin, as of the end of the 1920 season, played 1,152 games and sits at 706 goals. That means Ovechkin is 188 goals behind Gretzky with 335 games to play to catch up to Gretzky's game total. Breaking it down even further, over the course of 20 seasons, Gretzky scored .601 goals per game and 44.7 goals per season. As of right now, Ovechkin is totaling .612 goals per game and 47 goals per season. So that means if Ovechkin plays 5 more seasons to equal the same amount of seasons that Gretzky played, at his current 47 goals a season rate, that's another 235 goals he's going to score before his career is even over. Add that to the 706 goals he already has, that's 941 goals after 20 seasons. Gretzky only has 894. That's a lot more. But keep in mind, he doesn't need 941 goals. He only needs to beat Gretzky's record by 1 goal. That's 895. So what does it take for him to get to that number? Well, he only trails Gretzky by 188 goals right now, and if he has 5 more seasons to play to reach that 20 goal plateau like Gretzky was at, he only has to average 37.6 goals a season. And do you know how many times in Ovechkin's 15 seasons in the NHL he's scored less than 37 goals in a season? 3. And one of those was the 2012-13 season, which was like 41 games, so that doesn't even really count. Correction, I'm looking at my notes here. It was actually 48 games that season, but he was on pace to score 54 to 55 goals that year. So based on those numbers of 37.6 goals per year for another 5 years, he's going to break Gretzky's record. There's almost no doubt about it. The dude never scores less than 37 goals, hardly ever. He's shown no slowing down, even going into his mid-30s, and we don't see any reason for him not to carry this over for the rest of his career. But let's assume he does score 47 goals a season for the next 5 years. What happens then? Well, just one more season at 47 goals is going to jump him to 4th all-time on the goal-leading list. Just 2 more seasons in the NHL at 47 goals a season takes him up to 800 goals. That's only 1 goal behind Gordie Howe, Mr. Hockey himself. And 3 more seasons at 47 goals a season takes him clear into sole possession of 2nd place. 4 seasons at 47 goals a season ties him at 894 with Gretzky, and 5 seasons he has the most goals. So that means if he did miraculously score 47 goals a year for the next 5 years, he would only need 1 season at 48 to do it in 4 years. But we can't forget, that 47 number is an average, so it's going to be hard to sustain that for 4 years straight, let alone 5. And there's also the trickiness of contracts coming to play. The Caps only have Ovechkin locked up for 1 more season before his contract is expired. Now, do I expect Ovechkin to go anywhere else other than Washington, the one place he's played in for his entire NHL career? No, but it doesn't mean it can't happen. It just means he needs to sign a 4-year extension on his contract when it's up next year. No problem. But if he does sign a 4-year extension on his contract, guess what else that means? His contract will be up at the same time as, that's right, Nicklas Backstrom, who just signed a 5-year extension last year. How poetic would that be? Both contracts end at the same time, Ovechkin beats Gretzky's record, and they retire together. I can already see the dollar signs rolling around in people's eyes when they think about the movie script that could be written about that. There is an itsy bitsy tiny little wrench that could be thrown into all this. If a 4-year extension is added onto Ovechkin's contract, that is also the same year that both Kuznetsov and TJ Oshie's contracts end as well. That would mean that you have Ovechkin, Backstrom, Kuznetsov, and TJ Oshie's contracts all ending at the same time. That's your top 4 paid forwards, and that could be a little bit of a trouble. But that's not what this video is about, so we're not going to worry about it. We're going to pretend Ovechkin's playing for 4 more years, minimum. And if he does get a contract extension for 4 more years after next season and plays a total of 20 seasons, he will have played the same amount of seasons that Gretzky's played. So I think it's safe to assume that if he does play for the length of time that his body will allow him, he's going to break Gretzky's record. There's no doubt about it in my mind. But the next question is, can he do it in the same amount of games that Gretzky did? Right now there's a 335 game difference between the 2 players, and there's a 188 goal difference. That means in order to score the same amount of goals in the same amount of games that Gretzky did, Ovechkin, for the next 335 games, is going to have to average 0.56 goals per game. He's averaging 0.612 right now, and he's giving us no reason to believe that he's going to drop that average anytime soon. I mean, barring any major physical injury that's going to prevent him from ever playing again, he's going to sustain 0.612 goals or somewhere thereabout for the next 4 to 5 years, no problem. But let me break it down even further for you. If he sustained 0.612 goals per game for the next 335 games, that means he would score another just over 205 goals. I think the math came out to like 205.02 goals. That means adding that to his 706 goals he currently have, that's 911 goals. He is going to break Gretzky's record. There's no doubt about it. Whether he sustains his current goals per season average for the next 4 to 5 years, or he sustains his goals per game average for the next 335 games, he's going to do it. It's only a matter of when, and I think he can do it in less games than Gretzky did. It's not going to be easy. Everyone knows that. There's contract issues that come into play. There's other politics, and I understand all that. But in my heart, in my Capitals fan El Capitano heart, he is going to do it. Whew, I'm running out of breath. I hope you guys see, through everything that I've said in this video, how much I believe Ovechkin is going to break Gretzky's record. And I truly think that everyone in the NHL community and the hockey community wants it to happen. It's time. Gretzky will forever be the great one. He'll be at the top of the list for the greatest NHL players ever to live for the rest of time. But I think it's time for modern hockey to really make a surge, and Ovechkin beating Gretzky is gonna be that catalyst. But what do I know? I'm just a fan. Hey, if you like this video, smash that thumbs up button. And if you'd like to see more videos like it, subscribe. In the meantime, if you'd like to check out another cool video, try this one. And as always, let's go Caps!